sitting at 9-3. We just can't get enough of our Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this post-game edition of Believers Talk, where we talk about the game on Thanksgiving between the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, I'm your host. My name is Joe, and if you haven't already subscribed to Believers Talk, guys, subscribe to Believers Talk, like this video, and go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. You know, I always enjoy talking to the fans of Bills Mafia, so go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. We're going to talk about that game. You know, normally, if you've watched this channel a lot, you know that normally the day after the game, when we play on a Sunday, I rewatch the game without any emotional attachment since I already know the result, and I try to look at the positives and negatives from each game. I think there are positive and negatives to take from every single game that we play, and I know this one has us on an emotional high, right? Sitting at 9-3, best record we've had since after 11 games since 1996. Guys, last time we've won more than 9 games is 1995. It looks like we're well on the way to do that as well. Rewatched the game yesterday. If you're with me, you know that we did a collaboration video. All five of the best Buffalo Bills YouTube channels out there all collabed in one place. It was a great time. Mario from #Sports, Rico, Greg from Cover One, Rico from Buffalo Fanatics Against, and then Dan Mitchell, Don Mafia, of course, over there as well. If you haven't subscribed to any of those guys, make sure you subscribe to them as well. They do a great job, every single one of them. And guys, I don't know about you, but I just can't get enough Buffalo Bills content, especially on a time like now. We haven't felt this since YouTube has been a thing, right? Again, the last time we went 9-3 after 11 games was 1996. There was no such thing as YouTube in 1996. The internet barely came out maybe a decade earlier. So just a great time to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Again, guys, thank you for joining me. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, because, guys, I want to thank everyone for getting me over that 1,000K or 1K mark. And how am I doing that? I'm giving away this Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey, okay? Giving this away in a sweepstakes. All you have to do is go to www.bewarethestampede.com. Multiple ways that you can enter that contest, including subscribing to Believers Talk and following me on Twitter, on that other place, Facebook, and also doing some things with Twitter as far as retweeting and things like that. But we're going to talk about the post game of this game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Again, a game where the Buffalo Bills win 26-15. A great day for Buffalo Bills fans. It didn't start off great. It really did not start off great. You figure the Dallas Cowboys get the ball first in a 9-play, 62-yard drive, or 75-yard drive. They march it down the field, and again, every time the Buffalo Bills seemed to stop any type of momentum that Dallas had in that first drive, it looked like there was a penalty, and we can discuss all day if we thought those penalties were legitimate or not, but the bottom line is they were called, and that was a problem going into the game. We talked on Wednesday during my pregame about how Buffalo was averaging 7 penalties a game, and on that first drive, it didn't look like it was going to be much better, right? We had, I think, 2 or 3 penalties on that first drive, leads to the Dallas Cowboys scoring on the first drive, making it 7-0. And if you're a Bills fan, we talked about it yesterday during the collaboration video. If you're a Bills fan, Demir Hall comes in. First of all, welcome to Believers Talk. Thank you for stopping by. He said, I'm glad after the first drive, the Bills stepped up their defense. Absolutely. Hey, Kenneth Osborne, how you doing? People are finally respecting us. And we're going to talk about that too. On Friday yesterday, I heard so much more about how the Cowboys lost this game and how disappointing the Cowboys are, and not so much how great or how, at least good the Bills are. So we're going to talk about that too. But you talk about that first drive, the Dallas Cowboys moved the ball downfield, 9 plays, 75 yards, capped off by an 8-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott to Jason Witten, and it looks like 7-0, and we're sitting at home Thanksgiving Day, and we're like, uh-oh, what if the Bills get blown out? What if the Cowboys are able to do this the whole game, and the Bills just can't keep up? And as Greg from Cover One said yesterday, what if it's like the second half of that Eagles game, but it's the whole game, right? But after that, as was mentioned in the chat earlier, the Buffalo Bills defense really stepped up and stopped the Dallas Cowboy offense. Second drive, 5 plays, 47 yards for the Cowboys, and then from then on, it was just the Bills defense was lights out, forcing I call it 3 turnovers. I know technically it's only 2 turnovers, but that strip sack on a 4th down gives the Bills the ball in the 4th quarter, pretty much ends Dallas's chances of a comeback. That's a turnover on downs. To me, that's just as good as a turnover. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Angry Buffalo sports fan. Probably the best game since Fitzmagic beat the Pats, and that wasn't even on a national level, right? I mean, we saw that game, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed that game, but that wasn't even on the national level. Not everyone got to see this game. And guys, I don't know if you saw the numbers. Not this was the highest rated Thanksgiving game in over 20 years, the highest rated regular season football game in quite some time as well. So we should be proud of that. As Mario from hashtag Sports yesterday, if that does not show you how big Bills Mafia is, I don't know what does. We always knew Dallas had a big fan base, but they play every Thanksgiving. Bills Mafia, first game since 1994, first win on Thanksgiving since 1975. It was a great day to be a Bills fan, and it definitely was a happy Thanksgiving. Like, get some of these comments. Slick Rick, still hearing more Cowboy talk than Bills talk. Absolutely, that makes me mad. I mean, again, playing room on this wagon, guys. If you want to jump on board, when they finally want to jump on board, maybe we'll be this next week against Baltimore. Who knows? But if they want to jump on board, we're here. Daniel comes in. National media narrative is about that I was losing. Yeah, it is. Demir Hall. I still don't feel like anyone's respecting us. How good the Bills are. Dan Gary says 27 years. Yeah, it's 27 years since the last time we played on Thanksgiving, and maybe we're going to get some more primetime games here in the near future if this keeps up, especially when you talk about Week 16, Saturday afternoon, same time slot, right? 4:30 Saturday, we got the New England Patriots. And not only can you catch that game here, but you can also catch the Baltimore Ravens game right here on Believers Talk, giving you live play-by-play and reaction to that game. The other 2 games are going to be given to you by hashtag Sports. So if you're not subscribed to Believers Talk or hashtag Sports, be sure to do that. Giving you live play-by-play and reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game in 2019 and hopefully in 2020. You got that coming, right? January is right around the corner. Playoff season will start. We'll see what happens, but looks like the Buffalo Bills will look good as far as getting that playoff spot. Maybe they get the first playoff win since 1995. Would love to see that as well. But again, guys, thank you for joining me. If you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button as we talk about the game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Again, the Bills 9-3. It's feeling great. Here we are 2 days later. And guys, doesn't it feel comfortable, right? Think about the games tomorrow. You don't have to think about the Bills. You don't have to think about the Bills at all. The only way you want to think about the Bills, and we talked about this on Tuesday in my AFC playoff picture video, is watching that Steelers-Browns game, watching that Titans-Colts game, watching that Raiders-Kansas City game. If those games go our way, if the Titans beat the Colts, because remember, we beat the Titans earlier this season, if the Browns beat the Steelers, and if the Chiefs beat the Raiders, we pretty much have a 3-game lead on the next team, because then Tennessee would be the 6th seed, and we have a 2-game lead on them plus the tiebreak. Everything is looking good, right? I mean, everything is looking good as is with 4 games left to go, but it looks even better then. Believers, hey, Buffalo Fanatics, Rico, thank you for joining us yesterday. It was a great time. Definitely have to do that again. Maybe we'll get another collab with you and I in the near future because that was a lot of fun. I always love hanging out with Rico. He's a great guy. Even though he's up in Canada, can't enjoy the Thanksgiving with us, we will always enjoy a Buffalo Bills win together. So thank you for joining us on that. Anthony, hey, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. How is an 8-3 Bills team beating an overrated, delusional 6-5 Dallas team an upset, says Daniel? Well, according to Vegas, it was, right? Vegas had Dallas as a 6.5-point favorite. They were at home, so that's what we're going off of, and again, national media disrespecting the Buffalo Bills, and we've seen this from again Vegas. If you're a betting person, you should have made a lot of money on the Buffalo Bills this season, because Vegas completely disrespected us at the beginning of the season, saying we'd win 6 games, putting the over-under at 6 games. So it was a great win yesterday. But, man, if you are a betting person, you've been making some money off the Buffalo Bills all season long. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that. But yeah, we want to talk about some of the good from this game and the negative, right? So we talked about how this game started off for the Dallas Cowboys, down 7-0. We were down 7-0. I want to say the biggest play of this game, in my mind, the biggest play in this game, go to about 4 minutes left in the first quarter, right? And we have the ball at our own 2-yard line. It's 3rd and 10 on our second drive of the game. 3rd and 10 from our own 2-yard line. Josh Allen gets the snap from shotgun. Pressure coming from the left. He rolls out that way, and then he's able to from the right. He rolls out, finds Cole Beasley for 30 yards down the field. It's about the 30-yard line. We get another first down of that drive. We don't score on that drive, but that is a huge possession. Talk about changing field position. And then the Buffalo defense clamps up, and then on the next possession, that's when Josh Allen finds Cole Beasley for that 25-yard touchdown pass. Guys, Cole Beasley in this game fell 2 yards short. 2 yards short of his career high in receiving yards. He had a great day for us yesterday. Hashtags in the house. Welcome. Thanks a lot, guys. And Buffalo Fanatics is in the house. And yeah, as Rico pointed out yesterday in our collab video, it's nice to see Josh Allen finding some other targets. We saw Dawson Knox targeted in this game a little bit as well. Dawson Knox come up with some big catches. He did have that one play where I actually thought it wasn't a drop. It was a good defensive play by the Dallas Cowboy defender on that one, breaking that play up. Remember, the defenders get paid too, right? So he had a good play. I hope they don't count that as a drop by Dawson Knox. It was a good back shoulder throw by Josh Allen. Defender just gets his hand in there and does a good job there. But again, you look at the bad from this game. First of all, as was mentioned yesterday during the collab, the big bad in this room right now is Stephen Hauschka. Stephen Hauschka has been a killer right now the past couple days, and we really hope that there does not come a time when we have to rely on Stephen Hauschka for a game-winning kick. So, Biggity Bing, says Buffalo Fanatics. Absolutely, that collab video was awesome, says Dan. Yeah, it was. Mario from Hashtag with the idea got us all together. He did a great job putting that together, and we thank him for that. And again, we need to do that in the future because that was a lot of fun. Ron Enex, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Again, guys, if you haven't hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. And again, subscribe if you haven't already for continuing Buffalo Bills news. But yeah, so after that first drive by Dallas, that big third down play, 3rd and 10 by Josh Allen to get some room, right? Get some breathing room. Corey Jorges had a pretty good day yesterday. His worst punt was the last punt of the game when we were just wasting time at that point. But I think out of our special teams, again, we're talking about how bad Stephen Hauschka did. I think Corey Jorges has actually done a pretty decent job all season. And I thought I did a good job again yesterday. Remember that first punt, over 50 yards, backs up the Dallas Cowboys inside their own 10-yard line, makes it a long drive. Because again, the second drive of the game, Dallas drove for over 40 yards on that drive too, but we made them stall around midfield. So great job there. All the boys in the house, says Ronald. Absolutely. Jared Bunn's in here as well. Hey, how you doing? Thank you again, guys, for joining me. So some of the good from this game, let's get right into it. You have to talk about Cole Beasley. Like I said, 2 yards short of giving career high in receiving yards. He had 6 catches on this day. I'm sorry. Let me get this right before I give you guys some wrong stats here. Get the stats up. 6 catches yesterday, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Not only did he have 6 catches yesterday, on Thursday, 7 targets. So that means he had 6 catches on 7 targets. And that one target, if you remember right, it was a fastball by Josh Allen that was low and wide, almost intercepted actually. Dallas Cowboy defender made a play on it. Luckily, it was 200 fastball, a little too low for anyone to get their hands on it, and it felt incomplete. But that was the one pass that went Cole Beasley's way that was incomplete. So you're beginning to see, if you include that Denver game where Cole Beasley had a touchdown pass in that one too, and this game, you're beginning to see Cole Beasley and Josh Allen match up a little bit, right? You're beginning to see that cohesiveness as they continue to work together. And we already know the cohesiveness between John Brown and Josh Allen. So just imagine you get those 2 or those 3 guys all on the same page. You have a dangerous combination, right? So very good to see. Dale comes in 6 catches, 1 TD, 110 yards, and the W. And again, that's all that matters. And the great thing is about Cole Beasley, and this is one thing that I think doesn't get mentioned enough about Cole Beasley. When Cole Beasley consistently got asked about coming back to Dallas and how he felt, he just said it's another win, right? He didn't make any headline news. He didn't say anything that he would regret later. He actually did a great job. And we talked about yesterday when he comes back into the Buffalo Bills locker room, Buffalo Bills give him an awesome ovation, give him a bath in what we'll call it water, why not? And then they also let him stage dive a little bit. They carry him through the locker room, just a great way. Beasley is always open, and that's something that Dak said last season. So I imagine that Dak's not too happy, that hasn't been too happy that they got rid of Beasley. Ronnie X says BC like 7-Eleven, always open. Joe, tell me where Foster fits in this offense. Brown, Beasley, McKenzie, Foster, bad things. Absolutely. And we've seen Foster. We saw Foster yesterday. And let's talk about Foster being able to come back from what looked like a terrible injury just Sunday against Denver, right? And able to come back on a short rest. What does that say about his dedication to this team? I mean, we've always had a lot of questions about Robert Foster, right? Why he hasn't been seen much other than these past 2 weeks. Where has he been? But there's no question at this point. You can't question his toughness. Man gets a hamstring injury, and we think, man, he's gonna be out for a little bit. At least gonna miss the game on Thursday. Is Duke gonna play? Is TJ Yeldon gonna play? Who's gonna take his spot? And then we go look at the inactive list and who's there. Robert Foster. I joined you guys late on Thursday, and I looked at the inactive list and said Robert Foster active. Hey, we'll take it. And we saw that impact immediately because down on, I think it was the touchdown drive, the third drive of the game. We're going long to Robert Foster. He forces a pass interference penalty, and that moves the ball more downfield even further, gets us a first down. I believe that was on a third down as well, and we're able to continue to move the ball, get that touchdown. So we saw that impact yesterday. And to answer hashtag, I think it's Mario, to answer his question, that's where he comes into play. Right? That's where he comes into play. The Buffalo Bills are gonna hit you with the big hitters, right? John Brown, Cole Beasley, Dawson Knox, John Brown, Cole Beasley, Dawson Knox. We haven't used Robert Foster at all for the first 8-9 games of the season, and now all of a sudden you're seeing him being used. Defensive coordinators saying, "Oh wait, what do we have to do here?" And I also want to talk, and this is my second good from this game, guys, is you have to give Brian Dable all the credit in the world. Guys, that trick play was not just conceived between Sunday and Thursday. They've been practicing that, and you better believe that if they're practicing that and they're able to get that going in week 12, that they have some other things planned down the line on offense that defensive coordinators haven't even seen yet this season, right? If they're busting out new things in week 12 and able to get that down like that trick play where Roberts comes in the motion, Allen hands the ball off, pitches it back to Brown, and Singletary's wide open, and he backs his way into the end zone. He would have done a Michael Jackson moonwalk if he knew how to do it, but he doesn't. So he's backing his way into the end zone for that second touchdown, and that was great. Possibly 12-4 sitting around Enix, and hashtag sports brought this up yesterday. Mario brought this up yesterday, and we talked about this here on our channel as well. You want to break up an NFL season into quarters, right? Break it into quarters, and look what happened so far. First 4 games, we lose to the Patriots, a tough game at home. We go 3-1. Second 4 games, we lose to the Eagles at home, 3-1 again. So we're 6-2. Then we lose to the Browns. Tough loss, and especially with Dallas coming up, how are we gonna do? We beat Dallas. We finished 3-1. We can easily go 12-4 this season, guys, because that's what this coaching staff has the team thinking. Let's win each quarter. Let's go 3-1 each quarter. That would be 12-4. Now it'd be a 5th seed, but that would be a dangerous 5th seed at 12-4. Let me get to some other comments. Daniel comes in. Been thinking about how the defense is gonna lock when horrible Harry back and add him to the machine we have now. Yeah, think about that. Harrison Phillips is back next season, right? Next season we get Harrison Phillips, the riches at defensive tackle. Don't be surprised, and I'll say this now, I'll be the first one on the record to say it, during this offseason, you might see a name that you like at defensive tackle get traded away. Not saying it's going to be Star, not saying who it's going to be, but it might even be Corey Liuget. I don't know. It might be somebody. Since we have an embarrassment of riches at defensive tackle, don't be surprised if maybe we pull a trade plug, right? And why not? We have, I think, when Phillips comes back, we have 6 of them. No reason to think we can't trade that. Down comes in, smash that like button. Absolutely. What to do with Waddle next year? And that's another great question. Waddle's on the IR. We could bring him back. We might not bring him back, though, either. The contract we signed Waddle to the second year was, I think, a team option, very friendly. So we'll see what happens there. John Doe says, loved you guys last night. Hey, we love you guys every single day. I can't speak for all of them too often, but I know I can speak for all of them. Buffalo Fanatics, hashtag sports, Don Mafia, myself, and Cover One. We love you guys all the time. You fans are what keep us going. It keeps us alive. And we really enjoy the back and forth that we got. So go ahead, guys, hit that like button. Again, I thank you for joining me for this live edition of Believers Talk, talking about the post game. So again, we talked about Brian Dable, the offensive genius he had in that game. Again, like Rico said yesterday, we're going to tone it back a little bit because he still has to prove they can still do that, especially on a tough test this coming week against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, that's going to be a tough game. If we lose a close one, or if we pull off the upset, I'm going to be very satisfied there. So we're going to see that Avengers Assemble, so hashtag sports, absolutely. That yesterday someone said that is the Avengers of Bill's YouTube, and I look forward to using that a couple more times, maybe this season and beyond. It's gonna be fun, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and again, I really appreciated that last night. So getting to again, Cole Beasley was the first good thing from yesterday. Again, falling 2 yards short of a career high, 6 receptions, being that other target beside John Brown, and that cohesiveness between him and Josh Allen obviously getting better. Second thing, you have to give praise to Brian Dable. That third thing has to be, and I mean has to be, Ed Oliver, rookie from Houston. I mean, I know that you got Bosa, who's going to probably be Defensive Rookie of the Year, but man, Ed Oliver's coming on strong. You're talking about 4 sacks in his last 2 games, a strip sack yesterday. Again, and you talk about the turnovers by this defense. 3-4 weeks ago, what were we saying as Bills Mafia? We were saying, man, this defense needs to get to the quarterback, and we need to force turnovers. Still not doing great at forcing turnovers. We forced 1 last week, forced 2 this week. And again, I almost count that as 3 with the strip sack on 4th down. Gave Dak Prescott no chance of converting a 4th down. But we get 2 this week. You talk about 7 sacks 2 weeks ago against Miami, 4 sacks last week, another 4 sacks this week. We're doing things that this exactly what Bills Mafia was like. Oh, we need to do better in this area, this area, this area, this area. Every time we name something that we should be doing better at, yeah, the Bills do that. Because, by the way, I hate to bring this up for everyone who says, oh, Josh Allen isn't that good. Oh, look at his completion percentage. He actually did pretty good yesterday, completing 79% of his passes. I think he went 19 for 24. Someone check me on that. 19 for 24 yesterday. I mean, it's not John Brown good. It's not a perfect QBR like John Brown, 1 for 1 with the touchdown. And by the way, John Brown, first Buffalo Bill wide receiver to ever throw a touchdown pass. When I looked it up today, I found that hard to believe. I haven't had time to fact check that yet. But I looked that up today, and that's what it said. So I'm going to throw that out there. Let me know if you're like, wait, that's not right. This guy did it back then. I haven't fact-checked it yet, but I saw that today. So I thought that was very interesting. John Brown, with the first Buffalo Bills wide receiver to ever throw a touchdown pass. I was on the Fire Dable train before he went to the box. Now what can you say? I mean, what can you say? It's almost like completely different offense, right? And again, you mix up those trick plays in there. Who knows what he's going to dial up for the Baltimore Ravens team next week? Because everyone talks about how good Lamar Jackson and this Baltimore Ravens offense is. The Baltimore Ravens defense is pretty good too, right? This Baltimore Ravens defense, pretty opportunistic, and they can get pretty hungry out there. So you don't want to take that side of the ball lightly. And getting closer and closer to his first 300-yard game. Well, if you ask me, he's already had a few 300-yard games because I look at more all-purpose yards. And I know Mario from hashtag he was talking about looking into this. Maybe I should look into this and see how many games this season he's had 300 total like all-purpose yards. I'll say because look at the run game. That's a huge factor when you talk about Josh Allen, right? Huge factor when you talk about Josh Allen. And the passing yards, if he gets over 225, 230, rushes for 60, that's pretty good in my book. I'll take that every single day of the week. And something else I'll take is winning. Dak Prescott over 300 yards passing on Thursday. He didn't come on the winning side. I'm always going to stick on the side of winning, and I'm going to say that no matter how the Buffalo Bills do it. The Buffalo Bills can win on Sunday against Baltimore 9-6. Defensive battle, and all three of our field goals can be set up by defensive turnovers. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. I just want to win at this point. Just keep winning. I just hope Lamar doesn't add us to the highlight reel. He'll probably get a run or two in there, right? I mean, that's the best we can hope for, is that he adds us to the highlight reel only one time instead of constantly adding us to the highlight reel. Cowboys were 6.5 favorites. That's the only reason for upset. Well, there's a reason why Vegas thought that, right? I think anytime you go into Jerry World on Thanksgiving on a short week, and if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you know how I feel about Thursday night games, right? Thursday night, I'm going to lean towards the home team just because it's a Thursday night game. The away team has to travel on a short week. That really messes with the mentality of a football player and many athletes, because you have a regiment. You have a strict regiment that you go through every single day. And then to have that messed with for 1 week, that really messes with an athlete's psyche. And so that really goes into effect when you're the away team. And that's why you see on average, or probably a little bit more than 50%, the home team wins on those Thursday night games. But like we even saw the Lions give the Bears a tough shot with their third string quarterback, right? And I actually picked the Lions for that game because it was a noon start. But I think we saw all three away teams win on Thursday. So there goes that nonsense that I talk about. This is the Kingpin. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good to see you in here. I personally think minor changes were made since Browns game, but more credit, in my opinion, goes to execution. Go Believers. Yeah, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, again, you got to trust that process, right? I mean, Coach McDermott has been saying that for a while. Brian Daboll, since he's been put up in that box, obviously able to see things a little bit better. And you can always trust Leslie Frazier to get this defense jacked up, right? But I do agree. You look at how Tremaine Edmonds has been playing the last 3 games. Matt Milano has been, I know he's been good for the past 2 years, but Matt Milano has been all over the place these past 3 games in particular. But Kingpin, hey, glad you joined me, man. Always glad to hear from you. So make sure to leave some more comments if you haven't already. Daniel comes in, says thanks. Hopefully we get bad weather that will help us and hurt Baltimore. Again, Baltimore's defense is no joke either, so be careful what you wish for. I know we got bad weather in Buffalo this week, but we don't know the weather out for next week, so we'll see what happens there. Do we have America's attention now? No, we don't. The truth is we don't. Dallas still has America's attention for how bad they look, but Buffalo doesn't have America's attention. Let's wait. Let's wait. And again, as we talked about yesterday, always going to be room. When people finally realize how good we are, there's always going to be room to jump on board. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. 11 out of 24 starts, over 275 all-purpose yards. 3 times over 300. Hashtag sports comes in talking about Josh Allen. So those are the stats that matter to me. Evil WV comes in. Why is there a stick hanging from the Buffalo's ear on the helmets? You mean when they play? I can't tell you. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what you're talking about actually. But I'm sure someone else would be taking away from the helmets would be pretty cool. Awesome show. Thanks a lot, Buffalo Fanatics. Daniel Gars writes in, the defense and offense have been playing more aggressive since the Browns game, in my opinion. And, we saw that in the Dolphins game, right? You talk about the Dolphins game, the blitz schemes we ran against Ryan Fitzpatrick, very confusing, right? And we got 7 sacks in that game. That's not on accident, right? We did it in that game after a loss to show, hey, we're hungry and we're coming after you. And if you think you have us down, you have no idea what this defense is capable of doing. McDermott Company 10 days to prepare for an offense, feel pretty good. And we've been saying that, and this is something I said on my channel, and I heard it first from Greg from Cover One. We've been saying that maybe we're not going to beat Baltimore, but everything's leaning in Buffalo's favor to beat Baltimore this time. Again, Mario said it yesterday. He said if you give us Baltimore 10 times, they might beat us 6. They might even beat us 7. But we just need to find one of those 3 or 4 times, and we need to find it next week. And then we'll worry about the playoffs when they get here, right? We'll worry about the playoffs, the seeding. Because remember, New England is only a loss to Houston or Kansas City away from Buffalo Bills controlling their own destiny at the number 1 overall seed. Let's be real about that. And here we are going into week 13 now because we already won our week 12 matchup. So if New England loses to Houston this week or Kansas City next week, the Buffalo Bills control their own destiny to be the number 1 overall seed. We could beat Baltimore, we can beat New England, and that will propel us, as long as we beat Pittsburgh and the Jets in there too, propel us to that number 1 seed. I mean, that's something to really be excited about heading into week 13 if you are a Buffalo Bills fan. So some more positives from this game. Again, we talked about them. We talked about number 1 being Cole Beasley having a great game against the Dallas Cowboys, his former team, and just the Bills' response to that and how the Buffalo Bills were able to rally around him at the end of that game was really cool to see. And my second has to be and Brian Daboll, right? Especially that trick play between Andre Roberts, John Brown, finding a wide open Devin Singletary. Just really good to see that. And just so many good things out of this game. Josh Allen, again, throwing for almost 80% completion percentage. And again, it's no John Brown 100%, but that's pretty good. Coming from a guy who last season finished under 55%. I mean, he's been constantly improving this season. He's talking about only having 1 interception his last 8 games. He's been doing a wonderful job. And again, John Brown, first wide receiver to throw a touchdown for the Buffalo Bills. But the Buffalo Bills are now 8-0. I'm just looking these stats up now. 8-0 when scoring 17 or more points this season, and they're 1-3 in the games where they've scored less than that. So that's kind of that magic number. You can trust our defense to hold teams under that 17-point number. Then if you can do that on a consistent basis, that's a good sign. So again, Buffalo Bills 9-3, first best start since 1996. Down comes in, go Texans, absolutely still staying on this week. How big would a Pats loss be tomorrow, with still giving us a shot at the division title? Real possibility. No, and yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that, Kingpin. I think that, and again, even if they don't lose this week, they still play Patrick Mahomes the following week, and that's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, again, you have two big. Make sure you're watching that one. We should have won the Cleveland game, says Donnie Brook. Hey, you wonder if losing the Cleveland game gave us a little more energy in these next games. So, I am truly a believer in the butterfly effect. Butterfly flaps his wings in California, creates a tsunami in, I don't know where they say, Philippines or wherever it is. I truly believe in the butterfly effect. So us losing that Cleveland game could definitely given us a little bit of anger going into that Miami Dolphins game. So, I mean, one thing can lead to another. Who knows? We probably should have won that game, but we didn't, and we have to move on. I think the Buffalo Bills did a great job moving on from that game. So let's talk about some negative from this game. There was some negative, and we talked a little bit about one of those negatives already. Stephen Hausch. Again, I always want to go to his former nickname, but we can't do that anymore. We just can't do that anymore. Stephen Hauschka misses an extra point, misses a 50-yard field goal. He's missed 5 of his last 6 from 50 yards or more. So not exactly what you want to see out of a kicker. We're getting ready to go up against a kicker named Justin Tucker, who doesn't miss, right? Who hasn't missed in like 3 years. When you see him miss, someone keep that football and sell it on eBay or something, because it does not happen. Maybe there's an inflation in some of the balls there. Maybe there's something going on with the ball. You almost believe that when you see Justin Tucker miss a field goal. You're like, oh, there has to be something wrong with the ball. It can't be Justin Tucker because he's automatic. So if this game is a defensive game, like I think Bills fans want it to be, then we need to be able to rely on Stephen Hauschka. And we don't even know what weather conditions are yet. So we don't know if that's something we can actually rely on. Monopoly Money Hausch Buffalo Fags comes in. I mean, he's just not been good. And, you saw McLaughlin as the kick in Monday Night Football against Seattle for the San Francisco 49ers. He's been on and off teams all season as well. So, again, you look at that free agent market at the kicker position, you say, who's available? And it's a bare cupboard. It's a bare cupboard. So it's not just it's not just, oh, Stephen Hauschka stinks, you have to get rid of him. Who can do better? Who can do better? And now, of course, we did sign Hauschka to a contract extension right before the season begins, so now that's looking bad. But I think Mario from #Sports is the one who pointed out, when you can look at the front office and say their worst move is giving the kicker a contract extension, you're doing something right. So Stephen Hauschka, obviously the number one bad from yesterday's game, missing that 50-yarder, missing the extra point. The Bills get a little lucky that Maurer over in Dallas misses a couple as well, misses a couple field goals, misses the one before half. Jordan Phillips, huge tip on that play. Again, I'm not sure if that thing went wide either way, but either way, he gets his hand on it and he's able to tip that. Makes a miss right before half, and then in the third quarter, after we score on the opening drive, we score a field goal. They come down, they get into field goal range, and he misses another field goal. So, we missed 2 kicks, they missed 2 kicks. Works out pretty much the same, in my opinion. We're actually +2 after that scenario. So, kicking problems continue to occur in the NFL. It's not just our kicker. There's a bunch of kickers out there. Anyone who plays for Chicago is a bad kicker. But we have to continue to have confidence. We don't. But you have to look at Coach McDermott, and you have to look at Brian Dable, and you have to say they still have to at least pretend like they have confidence in Stephen Hauschka, because there might come a time this season, maybe even in the playoffs, where we have to rely on him. And I know it's a scary situation for all of us Bills fans. It's a scary situation for me, but that's why this coaching staff still needs to say they have faith, whether they do or don't, that they have faith in Stephen Hauschka. Anthony Simonelli comes in. Would you be in favor of drafting a kicker, considering we have gave Hauschka an extension in the offseason? I mean, if there's a kicker out there worth picking up in the 7th round, we should. But a lot of your kickers are going to make it into free agency, undrafted free agents, I should say. I mean, that's where we got McLaughlin from last season. But you do have to. Why is it asking me to show or hide this show? Hey, Buffalo Fanatics, thank you for coming, even for a little bit. Always good to have you on. Keep grinding. You too. I mean, I'm going to watch your videos next too. I always tell people, I always joke, because normally I do my post-game video the day after, and I say, yeah, well, I have to watch hashtag Cover One and Buffalo Fanatics and Dan Mafia and all of them, see what they say, and then I'll just steal their stuff, right? I mean, I don't really do that, but at the same time, I watch you guys' show all the time, and then obviously some of the stats from that, if I like them, if they're important to what I have to say, now I'm going to use them too. So thank you guys for grinding it out. Always enjoy having you guys on the stream, so thank you very much. Worst move was Vontae Davis at halftime quitter. Yeah, we don't even want to go back to that. I've done plenty of videos on that last season, and I don't even want to go back to that. And I'm sure he regrets that now. Smart man, just Buffalo. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, well, why do my own work? I can take your guys'. The Cowboys shouldn't have even had one of those field goal attempts. BS penalty that took the interception away. And so after I rewatched the game, unfortunately, the instant replay, I think the instant replay might cut out the hands to the face. The instant replay comes in, and I feel like, and I could be wrong here, that the hands to the face penalty had already happened, because shortly after they go to the replay, you see the ref already reaching in his waist, because as we know, unfortunately, when a ref sees a penalty, the flag doesn't show up immediately. He has to reach in his waistband, pull it out, and throw it. Sometimes he misses the first time. It's like revving a lawnmower. He tries to grab at it, and then he finally throws it. But I think the instant replay actually misses the hands to the face, because even Tony Romo was a little confused. So I wish that we could go back. Mario, if you're listening, go back on your film room. I know you have a film room coming up soon to go over this game, and see if you can get an in-depth look, maybe even a closer look at that play before instant replay even gets there, and see if you can see Jordan Phillips' hand to the face. Because from what we saw, you're right, it was an absolute BS penalty, and we need to do better. Jessica comes in. I think we need to bring at least one kicker in for workout, and hopefully they'll be able to replace Hauschka before the playoffs. We can't afford to allow Hausch to miss field goals and extra points, especially in the playoffs. Yes, I don't disagree with that, but what's the difference between Hauschka missing them and the free agent? Now, if us bringing in a kicker lights a fire under Hauschka's butt, I'm all for that. I'm all for that, but it could do the opposite too. It could absolutely do the opposite and completely tarnish Hauschka's confidence. Again, I'm not sure how confident Hauschka is in his own abilities at this point, but you did hear him say that he feels like he can do it. You know, just 2 weeks ago, he says he feels like he could do it. I think it was actually after the Cleveland game, so 3 weeks ago. He feels like he can do it. So first season, he was lights out for us, right? First season, lights out. Second season, really good until that injury in the Jets game. Then he had a rough start, but we were hoping it was all just due to the injury. Off season, he'll get better and he'll be fine. Hasn't worked out that way. I think he has the lowest field goal percentage among active field goal kickers in the NFL. Not good enough. On to Baltimore, says Jack. Absolutely, Jack Patrick over in Hawaii, sitting there at 5:30, enjoying a mojito or whatever you drink, and at the beach. But yes, Jack, absolutely on to Baltimore. But other than special teams, there were some negatives that we need to talk about in this episode as well. And I talked about it a little bit yesterday in the collab video. Guys, we did get, I'm not going to say lucky. I think that you look at the last 3, 4, 5 runs that Ezekiel Elliott had, and the Buffalo Bills defense won those battles. But to not go to Ezekiel Elliott at all pretty much in the fourth quarter, it seems kind of ridiculous, especially entering the fourth quarter. I believe they were still only down 16-7 at that point, only down 2 scores. And to not go to Ezekiel Elliott at all was really baffling to me. But if you look at the run D in this game by the Buffalo Bills, overall, Ezekiel Elliott still at over 5 yards per carry in this game. And that's something that has to be considered and talked about a little bit. If you're talking about this Buffalo Bills, honestly, I mean, he did gash us for a couple big runs, especially on that first drive, that first touchdown drive. It looked like he was going to go all day. And if you looked at Zeke numbers, 71 rushing yards on 12 carries, again, almost 6 yards average, and 7 catches for 66 yards, still having problems getting to that screen out of the backfield. So you look at those numbers, and you're talking about a total of 137 yards. That's still a pretty good day. If you would have told me before this game started that Ezekiel Elliott would have 137 yards against us, I probably would have picked us to lose this game. But luckily, we were able to hang in there and get those yards they got after that first quarter were not meaningful yards, right? And the defense was able to step up afterwards and prevent the Dallas Cowboys from getting any further. But the fact that they didn't rush them at all in that fourth quarter speaks more to the Dallas Cowboys not being able to call a good offensive game plan than it does to the Buffalo Bills stepping up and stopping the run. We didn't really step up and stop the run. Again, the last couple runs for Zeke Elliott didn't go so well. We were able to contain Dak Prescott, which was another fear of mine as well. But we really need to do better against the run. Daniel comes in. McD still believes in Hauschka, not expecting a change at kicker this season. I'm not either, Daniel. I agree with you. I don't think Hauschka has made a 50-yarder this season. He has. He made one against Miami, just not too long ago. The first series, he makes a 51-yard field goal. So he's 1 for 5, maybe 1 for 6 this season in 50-plus yard field goals. Jesse comes in. They're consistently giving the boys 1 to 2 yards while screwing us out of 1 to 2 yards when spotting the ball. If you watch close, that happens every week. As Bills fans, we have no choice but to accept it. And listen, I joked with people I was watching the game with afterwards and said, you know what? I think at halftime the refs went into the locker room and said, you know what? There's no helping these boys out. The Buffalo Bills are just better, and we saw that on that 4th and 1 by Josh Allen. You know, he's just bigger, badder, and better than everyone that Dallas defense ran at him, and it just showed on that play. So it was really cool to watch that. 4:30 baby, says Jack Patrick. My tie. Nice work on the collab. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. How's you guys having all these issues because he's going to reverse the no-wide curse for Buffalo will spontaneously in Buffalo. If Stephen Hauschka makes the game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl, will anyone remember any of this? Any of this? We won't remember. We'll say Stephen Hauschka is the best kicker in Buffalo Bills history. Steve Christie might hold the Bills record for most points by a Buffalo Bill, but Stephen Hauschka will become a household name in Buffalo, and he could pretty much go anywhere in Buffalo the rest of his life and be guaranteed someone will pick up his tab, give him a beer, and say thank you for your service in Buffalo. Defenses, why do we do so poorly on first drive defense? Can other OCs run scripts? Do they see something? Then we adjust. I don't know why it happens so often. We saw it in the Giants game, right? Saquon Barkley ran up the field on us, and that was it in that game. We saw it in the Browns game, and they were able to score a touchdown on the first drive, and now we see it here, and they're able to score on the first drive. But it does speak volumes to the Buffalo Bills defense able to adjust on the fly, right? You talk about Leslie Frazier's ability to adjust on the fly. Really good job by him and that defense. It shows week after week after week. The offense seems to see a weakness in the Bills defense. They exploit it for a drive, and then all of a sudden this Bills defense steps up and says it's not going to happen again. I really wish, and this is going to be part of my third negative from the game. From the game on Thursday, I should say, that the Buffalo Bills didn't allow that second touchdown. That second touchdown was scored, I believe, in 79, 89 seconds, right? Somewhere between a minute and a half. That touchdown was scored, and I know the game was well in hand at that point, and I get there was only about 4 minutes left on the game clock when they scored that touchdown, but you're still making it 26-15. You're still giving them a chance at an onside kick, and let's be honest about the Bills' special teams, not exactly great, right? We've already allowed one onside recovery onside kick recovery by the Dolphins this season. Don't want to rely on special teams to get the ball back. We were lucky to get the ball back, but this defense, even in prevent, needs to be able to stop them from scoring. The drive before that, when they went for it on 4th and 6, I believe it was, and there was the strip sack, you're talking about like a 6-minute drive. That's what you need to do in prevent defense. You need to make the Dallas Cowboys offense take their time up the field if you're going to play prevent. I am with everyone else who hates prevent defense. I say prevent defense is the best way to lose a game. Prevent defense only prevents you from winning, in my opinion, half the time. But if you're going to play prevent defense, you can't let them score in a minute. That's pretty much my third negative. In a game where there weren't too many negatives, you have to kind of be a little picky here and there. But if you're in the prevent defense, why are they scoring in under a minute and a half? That should never happen. Obviously, there were some misassignments there that need to be cleaned up. I thought we did a good job against Randall Cobb until that fourth quarter. I thought Randall Cobb had a good fourth quarter against us. I think that Cooper had a much better first half than second half. I'm actually happy that Cooper did not sustain a serious injury when he got his knee hit by the helmet of Johnson's. But again, I wasn't a fan of that prevent defense and because this game wasn't even close. Let's be honest. This game was not even close. It was 26-7 midway through the fourth quarter, this game was over, and it still was over even after that touchdown. But just unnecessary points at the end of a game makes it look better for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys just don't deserve that. No team deserves that. When you have a team down, step on their throat. Don't let them back in the game. Don't let them even think they have a fighter's chance to get back in this one. So let me get through some more comments here again, guys. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Let me get to some comments here. Daniel comes in. Defenses are constantly blowing up our screenplays. Well, we're working around though, and that's a great thing about having a guy like Josh Allen able to make things happen even when nothing is there, right? And we've seen that a few times this season. Dallas stopped giving the ball to Zeke in the second half for some reason. Again, I know that the last couple runs by Zeke were 2-3 yard runs, and the defense looked like they were getting some momentum. But all it takes is one big run by Zeke, right? All it takes is one to get him going. Once he gets him going, it's really hard to stop him. So I don't know why they stopped running the ball with Zeke either, but it really worked out in our favor. Just one of the amazing stories, when the Bills win the Super Bowl, says Jack Patrick, talking about the how she's going to make to win the Super Bowl. Again, reversing the curse from Scott Norwood. Jamel Moore comes in, but if he misses a kick in the playoffs like Chicago last year, then what? Well, then he's gone next year. Again, one of the things that Bills fans have to be very optimistic about, think about all the cap space we have next season. We are well ahead of schedule when you talk about the process. I've been saying that all season long. We're sitting here at 9-3. We're 4 games away from possibly being a 5th seed, if not better, in the playoffs. I think we're well ahead of schedule. At the beginning of the season, I said if we do 9-7, that should be something to build on for next season. Here we are, 9-3. We have 4 games to improve on my 9 wins. And again, I predicted 11 wins, but I said 9 wins should be the bar for the Buffalo Bills, and we're well ahead of that. And again, we have a whole boatload of cap space next season to look forward to as well. Kirby Cal comes in. We should not defer if we win a coin toss versus Baltimore. And I think Dan Mitchell said something about that yesterday in the collaboration. We should get the ball first, try to keep Lamar Jackson off the field as much as possible. And there's a merit to that. Do you want to start with your offense on the field? Remember, we did that against the Eagles, and it didn't work out for us. So I think we went 3 and out to start off that game. We won the coin toss. We received first, went 3 and out to start the game. Then all of a sudden, the Eagles score on their first drive, I believe, and then we're down 7-0, and we got the ball first. I always enjoy getting the ball at halftime, and I watch watch our division rivals, the Evil Empire, how they do things. How often do we see New England score right before the end of a half, and then they get the ball and score again? It could be as big as a 14-point swing without you getting the ball. And that's how important it is. I mean, in the first quarter, they score on the first drive. At least you get the ball next, right? If you don't start the second half with the ball, and it happens for one team or the other, it's 50-50 each game. But if you don't get the ball to start the second half, there could be a 14-point swing without you touching the ball. Is that something you want on your team? I don't think so. I'm always a proponent of defense first, and we need to come out and make a statement too. And what statement would that be if we come out, start on defense, and force Baltimore to a 3 and out? That's a huge statement if we do that. But again, it's up to the coaching staff. They know what would be best for this team, and I will trust them to do that as well. I noticed that we always allow garbage yards and points to team to end games. All the other defensive leaders in the league don't allow this. We would probably have the number 1 ranked defense if we would just keep our foot on the throat, says Justin. And I agree with that 100%. And, there haven't been a lot of games that we've won comfortably this season. You talk about this game on Thursday, and you talk about the Dolphins game a few weeks ago. And the last 3 weeks, really. Last 3 weeks, games that we've won comfortably. And all 3 weeks, you're right. We've allowed some junk yards at the end that you just wish we wouldn't allow. Now, I think Denver game a little less, but that's because of their quarterback situation not being that great. But I just wish we would not allow those yards, would not allow those points. It happened to the Dolphins in that first game, too. The Dolphins made that game a lot closer than it should have been in that 31-21 finale. But I do agree with you, Justin. Captain Clutch comes in. Thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. Found you on the Bills live stream. It was a lot of Captain Clutch. It was a great time. There was 5 of us in the collab. Had a lot of fun. Glad that you found me. And again, if you're not subscribed to me or any of those 5 channels, I really highly recommend you do that. You won't miss any Buffalo Bills news if you do that. We have you covered on every single every single thing the Buffalo Bills do. And over here on Believers Talk, I don't just keep you covered on the Buffalo Bills, I try to keep you covered on Buffalo sports. Guys, if you're a fan of Buffalo sports, not only was the Bills winning a huge way to kick off the weekend, it's been a great Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know how the Sabres are doing right now, I'll check that. But you talk about the Buffalo Bills winning on Thursday, you talk about Buffalo Bulls football winning on Friday, you talk about the Buffalo Sabres winning yesterday as well, and then both the men and women Buffalo Bulls team winning today in basketball. So I'm going to check on the Sabres real quick, see how they're doing. I don't expect as well of a result here. A 2-1 in overtime, so we still get a point, but still a good weekend for the Buffalo sports community. It's just been a really good weekend for us. Let me see if we have any games tomorrow for if you're a fan of Buffalo sports. The women's basketball team plays. The Buffalo Bulls women's basketball team plays. But overall, a great weekend for us if you're a Buffalo sports fan. But again, Captain Clutch, thank you for joining me. Daniel comes in from the second quarter on. The Bills were in charge, 26 unanswered points. Absolutely, it was great. It's absolutely great. Kenneth Osborne comes in. I just passed it. All right. Kenneth Osborne comes in. I'm calling it now. Bills and 49ers in the Super Bowl. Again, you talk about Chris Berman calling that the whole decade of the 90s. He would love that. But I would love that too. It'd be about two great defenses and two above average offenses, but not great offenses. So it'd be really fun to see that. Kenneth Osborne calling it San Fran versus the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. This is the closest to the feeling of the Kelly years in a long time. Listen, I actually was doing some research, and it's a fun note. So Jim Kelly's last year was 1996 for the Buffalo Bills. Got concussed in a wild card game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And in 1996, Wyoming, where Josh Allen went to college a few years later, that was the last year that they finished ranked before Josh Allen came in there, and then they were a ranked team for quite some time in 2017. So they didn't finish ranked, but again, that's something to look at and say, what a coincidence. Last time Wyoming was ranked before Josh Allen, 1996. 1996, the last year of Jim Kelly, and now we got, hopefully, we're all hoping, right? And it's looking good that Josh Allen is the quarterback of the future. Almost $9 million cap space next year, says down. That's what I'm saying. Like, you talk about being ahead of schedule and having room to improve next year. This team should be lights out next season. Now, I do expect next season to lose either, or if not both, Leslie Frazier and Brian Daboll. I really do. And it's going to be sad to see them go. So it really matters, does Ken Dorsey step up in that offensive coordinator position if Brian Daboll is to go? Who steps up and fills the shoes for Leslie Frazier if he leaves? I think those are very important questions to ask, but I think both of them would be head coaching candidates heading into next season. That might be the biggest hole we have to fill next season if that does happen. I don't like the junk time stuff either. My blow-up doll. Thomas comes in talking about his blow-up doll. He predicts next week the Bills will be tied with the Patriots by the end of next week. Would love that. Would love that. Week 16, that game, both teams be tied. That would be amazing. Again, guys, I'll have you covered for the game next week against Baltimore Ravens right here. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button now. Like this video and leave a comment. Even if you're not watching this live, I always enjoy getting them to my commenters, so make sure you leave a comment. And guys, if you're a commenter and you say, hey, Joe, I got an idea for a video about our Buffalo Bills, leave it in the comment section. I love answering commenters' questions and doing videos that answer some of those questions as well. Captain Clutch comes in. I've been following Buffalo Fanatics since 2007. Great channel. I think I've probably been following them since the same time I started this channel in 2017, and I was definitely following Buffalo Fanatics before I started this channel, so I would definitely be in that boat with you. In my opinion, always defer to the second half, says Daniel. He agrees with me on that one. So it's Jack. Sabres lost the Leafs 2-1 in overtime, but we still got that point. Let's play a game. What position gets our first pick in 2020? Let's play a game. What if we trade down? What if we trade down? Because you figure at this rate, we're going to have a high 20s draft pick, right? Teams are going to be fighting to get back into the first round. What if we trade down, pick up an extra second round draft pick, maybe something like that? We'll see. Bills fan here. I don't know if I should do that. Mission Uber. I don't know if I should do that. But I appreciate you coming on, so I'll show it. I'll show it one time. Mission Uber. So again, guys, Mission Uber comes in. Go ahead, check out his channel. I'll check it out after the stream. What do you think our biggest need on defense is? Definitely not defensive tackle, I'll tell you that. I think we should try to get another lockdown corner and possibly draft a successor for Zoe. On offense, obviously, we should get stud, prototypical. I think we need to start looking at some help for those safeties. Hyde and Poyer, they're great, and they're going to continue to be great, but they're not getting any younger either. I think that maybe we should look at a safety. If not, a lockdown corner would definitely be where we go on defense. But if you look at the first round of the draft next year, if you're talking about we have to pick up someone in the first round, no one's going to trade with us, we definitely address the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion. I believe that have not about 9 draft picks as well as salary cap. Yeah, Dan. I mean, it's looking really good for next season. Number one receiver first and foremost is Justin. Talking about in the first round draft next year. It really depends on how things fall next year in the first round. Does a good wide receiver fall to us? Should we trade up for a number one wide receiver? These are questions you have to ask. Now, the good news is if the draft works at all like it did this past year, we know we'd get a number one wide receiver. Jack Patrick says linebacker to help replace Alexander. Mission Uber says, oh, do it. Watch. I have Bill's highlights in the last YouTube video. He says, edge rusher for sure, says Mission Uber. Should the Bills spy Jackson? I think the Bills should come out confusing Jackson as best as possible. We talked about, again, yesterday in the collaboration video as well. I think one of the pluses for this team is how they can continue to confuse defenses or offenses, I should say. And I think there should be plays where we have a spot, and then there should be plays where we don't have a spot. And it all depends on down and distance. It all depends on formation of the Baltimore Ravens. Because remember, Ingram, last time he played against us and he played for the Saints, he rushed all day against us. And I remember that game, and it was not a good day if you're a Bills fan. It wasn't a good day at all. And even though we made the playoffs that season, that still left a bad taste in your mouth. Yes, spy with Milano, spell with Edmonds, in my opinion, Zach Patrick. I would like to see a trade for Mike Evans, says Captain Clutch. Mike Evans would be a great addition to this team. If you're talking about a true number one wide receiver, and still kind of young, right? He came out the same year we got Sammy Watkins. And the sad thing is, if we don't trade up to get Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans is still available with that pick before we traded up. So that kind of stings a little bit. Maybe he wasn't, because we had 9th. I think it was drafted 7th. But still, stings a little bit, right? We should look at corner or wide receiver. We should look at Baltimore, guys. We should look at Baltimore. And guys, I'll be covered all next week. You know how I do it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll have a video out every single day of the week. Monday, I normally do a post-game video. I'll probably still be live during halftime of Monday Night Football. Not sure what the video will look like, but I hope you guys join me for that. Always enjoy having you guys on these streams. Tuesday, I give you a look at the AFC playoff picture, where the Bills are at currently in the AFC playoff picture, and games of interest in the upcoming week, and why they're an interest to the Buffalo Bills, how we can move up in the playoff picture, and hopefully we don't talk about this for a few weeks, how we could potentially move to that 6th seed or out of the playoffs altogether. Hopefully that's not a topic of discussion, but we talk about that Tuesday. Wednesday, I give you my pick'em videos. I give you my pick'em videos not only straight up, but I give you them against the spread. Thursday, I go live Thursday Night Football halftime. I go live for the pregame for the game on Sunday, and then Friday I give you an updated injury report. So live every single day, and that includes if we have any breaking news, if we sign a new kicker before the game next Sunday. If something happens, I will let you guys know right here on Believers Talk. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video. Joe Nelson comes in, great show with the social media guys. I say, hey, it was a great show all around. I love that collab video. I hope we can do it again, because it was a lot of fun. A talented bruiser running back to replace Gore, definitely will need one of those as well. But guys, also do not forget Believers Talk in teaming up with BoyTheStampede.com to thank you guys for giving me over 1,000 subs, giving away this Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. Go to BoyTheStampede.com for how to enter. And again, guys, once you enter, if you already subscribed to me on YouTube, did I get it up high enough? I don't think I did. Here, I'll show you it again. Right here, baby. Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. So again, if you already subscribed to Believers Talk, you can still use that as entry. Just go to BoyTheStampede.com. 6 ways to enter. And guys, if you're following me on Twitter, I will be tweeting every day between now and December 20th. If you retweet, that can count every single day, 1 per day as an entry. So you want to make sure you keep going to BoyTheStampede.com. Keep logging those entries for your chance to win this prize. We'll have some secondary prizes as well that I won't really say on here, but they're pretty cool themselves. So make sure you go ahead and log those entries. Again, thank you guys for checking out the channel. Thank you guys for all your help. Get some more comments. If the Baltimore Ravens lose tomorrow, then they will be pissed off next week, says Thomas Camp. Yeah, I hope it's a close game, because you know Leslie Frazier and Coach McDermott are going to be watching that game against the 49ers and saying, where can we get him? What can we do? do to stop Lamar Jackson, or if not stop, just limit Lamar Jackson. Again, guys, thanks a lot for joining me. Bill's still 5 seed. I think we are still 5 seed. Like your group, Joe, the Fab Five. Absolutely, it was a great time doing that. We keep facing teams with prove it weeks, right? Hey, it's going to keep happening, and everyone talks about the gauntlet the Bills have to face. Maybe the true test is the teams coming to play Buffalo. Buffalo's 9-3, whether people like it or not. We're coming after it, and we're going to the playoffs. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on this edition of Bill-ievers Talk. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.